Guys, this is going to be the most unprofessional YouTube live I've probably ever done, but I'm under the weather. But I didn't want to disappoint you guys. And I believe in commitment, I believe in consistency. So I'm under the weather. So I'm drinking. This is called jamu, and it's what people drink here in Bali. To help when you're not feeling well. And so when I talk to you guys today, my tongue is going to look like this. Are you ready? Most unprofessional YouTube live, but yes, I think I am just I partied too hard for my 100K subscribers, and I have a lot going on. I am taking off to Europe finally. As I say that, COVID is now spreading rampant in Indonesia and in Bali. So I'm just heartbroken over that. We're about to go back into lockdown here in Bali, meaning shutting down restaurants and all that. But I'm supposed to be flying. I'm supposed to be flying out in July because I want to be in France. France. I'm not going to make it. I'm going to go to France this summer. You guys know I love France, but I'm going to head to Greece, and I'll be spending my birthday July 23rd in Greece, you guys. I've never been. Anyone here from Greece? Let me know in the comment section if you're from Greece. That would be amazing because I've never been and I'm going. So, but yeah, lots going on with business and life. So this is going to be my most unprofessional YouTube live. So guys, these live Q&As, I'm going to start doing them a little bit differently. You can see my little pink keychain. That's pepper spray on that because, you know, you got to be smart as a single woman. So these Q&As, what I want to do is focus them in a little bit more on a specific topic, and then we will go into the Q&A portion. So this video, of course, the first time I do this, I'm sick, and this is me drinking jamu and talking about COVID and me traveling to Europe. But so we're going to talk about the 8 qualities and traits that attract women. So I'm just curious, in the comment, someone just said great food in Greece, Italy meets Turkey is how I would describe it. Oh, that's very interesting. I've never been to Turkey, but I have been to Italy numerous times. I freaking love Italy. So we're going to talk about the 8 traits that attract women. So I'm curious, in the comment section, tell me what you think. I've got a list of 8 of them here, and I'm curious if you guys guess anything that I have on my list. What would you say is one of the 8 traits that attract women? The first one I want to go into is having a personality. That's great. I should have had that on my list, Josh. Oh man, you guys, do you want to take over my YouTube channel? Because you guys are listing out some great ones. Oh my gosh. You know what? You start coaching, man. Someone's got great listener. We've got maturity. We've got confidence. None of those are on my lips. Someone just put luscious locks, and I saw luscious, and I don't know why my mind went to lips. Luscious locks. That's not on my lips. Okay, so K-Man hasn't guessed one of them on my list. Sean has guessed one of them on my list, a 6-pack. Not everyone likes a 6-pack. It's interesting. Like, women were really funny. Like, everyone likes a little bit of everything. It's just kind of like ice cream. Confidence. Okay. Sense of humor. Okay. Someone guessed. So 2 of them have been guessed. You guys are great. So the first thing I have is personality. And excuse me, as I give you advice, and no, I'm not anorexic. Every time I do that and people see that, they're like, you need to eat. And I'm like, I've had this since I was a child. I just have a very small frame. Dad bods are in. I thought it said dad boobs are in. And I was like, oh, that's a little too far. Oh. So I have on here personality. as I pour myself some Jamu as I do this. Super professional, right? Super professional. Look at those guns. It's what Pilates will do for you, man. Oh, shit. And spraying fucking turmeric all over yourself. So personality is super important. But here's the thing about personality. I think a lot of us, just to fit in, should not be pouring this over a white couch. To fit in, we like create these fake personalities. But when I say personality, like, oh man, this is just a rightful mess. I should not be doing this in the middle of a live video. Look at that. I've got turmeric all over me. Someone says, I will feed you, Arica. Yes, I have a dear, precious friend. My friend Marco is just taking wonderful care of me. And he's brought me juices and gluten-free bread. But personality, like, it's your personality. When I say personality, I don't mean like anybody's personality will do. I mean, it's your personality. And so when I say that Sean guessed one of them, I didn't have this specific word on my list, but vulnerability is what allows our real personality to shine through. You know, even for me doing this right now, it's a little bit vulnerable, but you guys have gotten used to my personality. I've been doing YouTube for a long time. Watch your language. I know, right? I let an F-bomb slip. You know, you guys have gotten used to my personality, which makes, you know, I'm comfortable being messy and bringing this on and being funny about things because that's just my personality, you know? And so when you allow yourself to be vulnerable enough to be the real you, that's what people get attracted to. You know, Brene Brown, I love Brene Brown's work. She wrote a book called The Gifts of Imperfection. And so I think a lot of men, a lot of women, we try to make our personalities into what we think people will want to see, and they never see the real us. And so when we allow our imperfections to come out, that's what makes us adorable. That's what makes us so intriguing. You know, most of the people that work with me, they watch my YouTubes and they say, hey, I want to hire you as a coach. It's like, you know, they all say, I love your personality. I love that you really care. You know, I could give very bland, boring dating advice, but that's just not who I am. And so I'm not going to do a career that doesn't resonate with who I am and my personality. I don't want to be out of alignment like that. And so for me, it's important for my personality to come through, which takes courage. And so when a woman's connecting with you, she wants to see that real personality. And hey, if your personality puts her off, chances are she's not your woman. Now, if you're rude and you may lack some social awareness, there are some things that can be refined there. But when I say personality, that's such a generic thing. But I mean, it's your personality. You not pretending to be someone else, but being the real you, making the jokes you want to make, standing up and talking about the things that you're passionate about, you know, letting the real you come out. It was really funny when my friend was just here and he was bringing me the jamu, because this is like the magical elixir of Bali. It's got like ginger, turmeric. I think it's got some peppers in there. It's all sorts of stuff. And he was like, he's like, but Arica, you're going to do your YouTube live and you're going to have a yellow tongue. I'm like, then I'm just going to say I'm sick and that I have a yellow tongue because I'm drinking jamu. I mean, it's just keeping it real. And so that's when a woman can really find you attractive. It's when your actual authentic personality, who you really are, shines through. It makes you more personable. It makes you more tangible to connect with. So the other thing I have is this. This is a tricky one. This one, you guys are going to be like, oh, and tell me if you struggle with this. I would really love to know if this is a challenge for you. But women are really attracted to a man who has a great ability to conversate, communication, a guy who knows how to carry conversation. Who in here struggles with carrying conversations with women? I know you guys do, because that's why we created the Compliments Bible, because so many times people are like, what do we say to women? But yeah, a lot of guys just don't know, you know, what to say to a woman, how to keep the conversation going. I know so many clients that I've worked with in the past are like, Arica, it pisses me off. I meet a woman, she's beautiful, and in my mind, I'm like, don't F it up, don't F it up, don't F it up. And he's like, and then I just don't know what to say to her. I don't know how to keep the conversation going. I don't know how to keep that spark there. And it's like, I freeze, I fizzle up. So many guys say like, I don't know how to keep the momentum. And guys, if you really do need help with this, I'm going to put it in the chats. I have a course that really helps men, especially when you're going on a date with a woman. It's called Create and Keep Great Conversation on the Date, because it's an actual art form, you know? And so I go into like how to start off the conversation all the way to like what to do in the middle when things get, you know, when you hit that dry slump when you're talking to a woman, you're like, shit, what do I do? This kind of lays it out like, okay, when this happens, this is exactly what you do. This is how you keep it. And then at the end of the day, I teach you how, like, by keeping conversation, that like, and carrying conversation, that you get to see by you asking specific questions. Is this a woman that you want to be with? Because I think so many guys, you guys get in your head and you're like, oh, does she want me? But it's not about just does she want you, it's do you want her? And when you have that conversation in such a way that you're able to ask questions, you get to decide. Let me say that again. You get to decide by the end of the date, is this a woman that you want to be with? So I really think that that is a skill that most men and a lot of people just really struggle with, is that ability to conversate. So if you struggle with that, there's a link. The link, you guys can tell I cannot talk. I'm really off my game today. I'm just like slurring over here. There's the link here in the chat section over. I sound like Daffy Duck. So personality, conversation, like a guy who, personality, not just any personality, your real personality, which requires vulnerability, which I have a product about that as well. And then your ability to hold conversation. The other thing is this is a little tricky one. It's stability. Stability is a really big one. When women meet guys who are kind of flighty, Dave, you must be late. I just gave this whole explanation. I'm under the water, I can't even, and I'm drinking Jamu. It's the magical Bali elixir. It heals all things. It's with turmeric, ginger, peppers, and other good stuff. Oh, I think cumin as well. So it's having your personality, it's the ability to conversate, and it's stability. You know, when a guy is all over the place, like when she's like, well, what are you doing with your life? And you're like, well, I'm doing this, but I'm also doing that. And I'm also doing this. You know, she's going to go back and say to her friends, like, great guy, so good looking, but he doesn't have his shit together. He's just kind of all over the place. And I know that that's not like just something that you can just pull out of your bum and go, I'm stable. That's something that actually takes time to cultivate, you know? So stability is something like you getting very clear about like what you want out of life, and then making steps to be consistent. Consistency is a big part of stability. If you want stability in your life, it's consistency, being consistent, you know. If I didn't do this YouTube live video, if I wasn't stable with my word, with men, with you guys, by saying, hey, this is when I show up, if I didn't do that, that would actually probably stress me out more than what it's doing right now, being under the weather and doing this. I'd be more stressed out because I didn't hold my word. I wasn't being stable. I wasn't being consistent with my word. There's a lack of integrity there. So personality, conversation, stability. And then you guys already guessed this one. The fourth one is humor. Women just love humor. You know, when a guy can make you laugh, it just kind of pulls you out of your mind. It pulls you out of your life experiences, and it reminds you that life is to be enjoyed. And so when a guy has a gift of being humorous, it's like it helps her facilitate that joy. If you think about it, like for me, I don't know about you guys, but I work to music constantly. Like one of my clients just suggested 2 songs. He's really into music. Shout out to my boy Jason. Jason just recommended 2 songs. I guarantee you I'm going to work to those songs today, because music creates that rhythm. It's like it puts you in that flow. It's the same thing with humor. When a guy is humorous, when he has that sense of humor on a date, it creates this rhythm. And think of it as music. It creates this flow in the date where there's this enjoyability. I don't know if that's even a word, enjoyability, where you're able to just really enjoy the guy. You're really able to enjoy the moment. It kind of takes you out, and it just takes you out from the rest of the world, takes you away from your problems, takes you away from everything else going on in life. And it really makes you focus on the date. It really takes your attention, and it makes you focus and have undivided attention on the date. That is the power of a man who is able to use humor. It's super powerful. The other thing is this, and I don't know if I see a lot of people talk about this, and I think it's kind of underrated. Excuse me, I have chest congestion on top of all this. One thing that you don't, I think it's overrated, and we think, oh, we get taught this when we're in like kindergarten when we're children, is the fact of kindness, a kind man. And I know so many guys, when I say that, it's like, oh, I want to be careful with that because I don't want to be put in the friend zone. And so a kind man, sorry, that key on the door is just driving me crazy. I'm not a big fan of pink, but that was the only pink pepper spray they had, because when I used to walk to the beach a lot, when I lived on a different gang, which we call them gangs here, not streets, there are all these Bali dogs, and depending on what's going on at the moon, these freaking dogs will just come and growl at you. So I just have a can of mace just in case. I've never had to use it, but just in case one of them decides to show some teeth and chases me, I had the hideous pink can of pepper spray. Cannot stand. I gotta stop. Humor, see what I mean? Humor will stop everything and pull you out of the moment. And really, the Fro just said, a moment of silence for everyone in the friend zone. That was really funny. That was just brilliant. I can't even properly laugh, but that's so great. A moment of silence for everyone in the friend zone. You got me, damn it. That was really funny. But yeah, kindness. Now I got to get back into the zone. Not that I'm really in the zone on this one. I'm sorry, guys. But at least I'm here. Damn it. At least I'm here. We talk about kindness, and that's something, you get taught in elementary school and things like that. But a kind man, like, really speaks volumes to a woman's heart. I think just kind people in general, not just a man, but a woman. And so when a guy gets put in the friend zone because he's too overly kind, is because all he's doing is giving kindness, and there's no she's not reciprocating. He's not giving her any opportunity to reciprocate. There's no space. She's, one, not reciprocating because maybe she's selfish. And the other is, he's just constantly doing everything that it's like when she goes to do something, he's like, no, I have it covered. No, that's overly kindness. That's you being overcompensating. I'm not talking about that. Stylish pepper spray. Thanks, Caligula Bear. I miss you, guy. Yeah. Oh, Caligula Bear, I didn't email you. I'm going to tell you right now. Babe, I changed all my courses over to a new platform. A lot of you guys who've had my courses probably got that. But Caligula Bear, I gave you access for free to my vulnerability product. I don't know if you saw that, but I gave that to you because I just love you. He was a part of when I used to have a members community. He was one of my most faithful members. And so I totally forgot to email you. I just granted you access to that and never told you. I'm so sorry. Yeah, he was such a loyal member and showed up to every call and brought so much value. And I was like, what can I do for this guy? I just love this guy so much. So yes, I gave you free access to my vulnerability course. Excuse me, guys. I'm having a hard time talking too. I better not have Corona again. Fuck that shit. Oops, I just did it again. You can tell when I'm tired, the F-bombs come out a lot more. But yeah, it's being kind, a kind, gentle man. Like, women still value this. If you think that, I think we get this misconception of like what an alpha male is. And it's like this guy who just runs over women. No idiot woman signing up for that. It's like, yeah, change the game on me. Make me your doormat. Come on. No woman's stupid enough to go, that's going to turn me on. No, you still want a kind, respectable man. And so I think, I don't talk about this enough because it's always like, if you're kind, a woman's going to take advantage of that. She's going to put you in the friend zone. And that's not always the case. That is the case when you're just constantly giving and you don't allow her to give to you. It's actually like, we could take it on a deeper level. Yeah, it's not smothering. Ollie, great way to put it. That's great advice. He said to be kind, but not smothering kind. There goes my tongue. Absolutely, the turmeric tongue. It's true. It's not the smothering kind, but even that, like on a psychological level, it's like when people overly give to people, it's because they have an inability to receive. I'm taking this on a much deeper level, but I love this shit. And this is what I talk about in my coaching. I like to go into the why. Like, why do people do this, and what's the practical meaning, and what will practically correspond as a result. So when someone is constantly needing to give, it's because it's a defense mechanism, because they can't receive. So we're not talking about that. We want you to be the kind guy, but you also have to position yourself to also write this down. I want to position myself. I'm busy. Can you guys come back in 30 minutes, please? Makasih. The cleaning crews here. That's one of the beauties of living in Bali, is you get cleaning. Your home gets clean like all the time. I don't ever make my bed anymore. And I used to love making my bed, but no, they clean every day here. It's amazing. But yeah, it's being kind, but also creating opportunity. Can I create opportunity to receive kindness from her? Maybe write it down that way. Can I create opportunity to receive from her? Start talking in Bahasa. Good. Yeah. Did you hear my makasih? Makasih. Apa kabar? Suksema. That's Balinese. That's not a Bahasa. Suksema. Suksema mawali. Panas panas. Bagus. And the next thing, this is something else that's very interesting, that a trait that women really like, or a quality that women like in men, that attracts women to men, is a guy who has a sense of community. There's something about someone who has like a group of friends, they have that community. I see a lot of people creating a sense of community. Look at all my vitamins back there. I have to order all of these vitamins before I take off to Europe. When a guy has a sense of community, it shows like there's something that this guy clearly has to offer. Like, he has something good going on. He has a good personality. He's generous. He's kind. He has a big heart. This is why people want to be around him. This is why people are spending time with him. And so a lot of times, I see men joining a sense of community, like with their gym and things like that. And it just instantly makes people attractive. It's kind of like that guy who's just always in the friend zone. Then he gets a girlfriend, and then all of a sudden he becomes attractive to a bunch of girls. It's like there's that thing of like, we want what other people have, because obviously there's that perceived value. Like, oh, they're valuable. They bring value to the world. They bring value to their people because these people are hanging out with them. So when a guy has a sense of community, which I really encourage all of you to have, when a guy has a sense of community, it actually makes him really attractive. Caligula, I like that. He says it's the confirmation effect. Yeah, it kind of confirms like, hey, I don't have to do a bunch of research into this guy. He's clearly a good person, because look at the community of people around him. Look at his group of friends. Look at his social circle. These are other words that we can use. So yeah, that's a super powerful thing. Alan Ross says, hey, Lady Arica, your turmeric tongue has won. If we'd kiss heart-centeredly, it would be more than fun. That's sweet. Okay, and then the seventh one, the last one is also going to be a very interesting one that I don't talk about a lot on my YouTube video. And as I was like writing these out, I was like, I don't talk about this enough, but it's actually really important. So the last one is going to be something that you probably wouldn't suspect, which I'll get to that. But the seventh one, I'm going to talk about this one because I talk about it all the time. But a guy who has sexual energy. I'm sorry, I have to pour more turmeric. So I've got my pillow here. So here's the thing. When let's say you have all these things on the list: personality, conversation, stability, humor, kindness, community. Let's say you have all of that, right? And you're like, yeah, Arica, I'm kicking ass. but I'm still in the friend zone. She's still, there we go. My boy Jataro just got it. He just got it. You're like, but I'm still in the friend zone. I'm doing all these things that you said, and I'm still in the friend zone. What is it that I'm missing? And I'm about to tell you, the seventh most important, it's not the most important, but it's the thing that is the deal breaker of bringing you out of the friend zone is sexual energy. You gotta have sexual energy, because that is, what's the difference between a friend and someone who is her boyfriend? What makes a difference? They're having sex, they're kissing, there's chemistry there, they're physically drawn to one another. And I caught myself that time, but I just got turmeric everywhere. Just don't get it on the white couch. Just don't get it on the white couch. It's that sexual energy. And so that's something that like I constantly, and I know I get a lot of shit from a lot of like, I don't know, red pill guys who are like, yeah, you go to jail if you touch a woman. And I'm like, okay, that's a little bit extreme. You're not going to go to jail for touching a woman. You're going to go to jail for touching a woman inappropriately. Like, let's be honest. Okay, you guys, I literally have turmeric everywhere. Sorry. Oh, now you really get to see me in my lingerie. I'm coming back, guys. Shit, that is a mess. Most unprofessional YouTube ever. I'm sure this is comedic for some of you guys. You're like, this girl. Oh, gosh. Whoa, what did I just show on that? And that was live. Jesus Christ. Okay. Note to self, Arica, when one is sick, just don't do these. So it's sexual energy. And so what I'm constantly doing here is championing you guys. Don't overdo the turmeric. It can cause kidney stones. Oh, shit. And I'm drinking this massive bottle of it. That's good to know. Okay, I won't drink anymore after this one. The red pill guys are victims. They really are. Bless them. They feel like they're super powerful, but those guys break my heart. I'm like, you guys have fallen into a trap of lies. You think you found the truth, and your misery says otherwise. Did I just flash you guys? Please tell me I did not. That is, oh my God. What did I just do? Oh, someone just said, Sean just said, well, hello, dear. I'm awake now. If I just flash, I'm going to have to take this whole YouTube video down. But it's that's what I'm constantly, no, you didn't. Okay, thanks, Ollie. It's that sexual energy that really makes a difference. And women actually desire that. It's like I constantly want to champion you guys and say, like, listen, your sexual energy matters. And I think for so many men, there's so much shame around it, which is why I want to be such an advocate to you guys about your sexual energy. You know, I did that interview with Zan Perion, and I had so many guys respond to it because I was very vocal and very wild about how I said, like, what a woman really wants. And it's like, yeah, like there's definitely hypocrisy. Like when I talk to my girlfriends, because it's like, you know, I hear women like, you know, they want men to respect them and things like that. And I think that women will talk about these, you know, they talk about these things on social media about Me Too and this and that. And there's a place for that. And I think that that's right to stand up for women in that circumstance. But then when you start ostracizing men and saying, you know, you can't do anything, you can't ever touch women, you can't do this. And I'm like, but there's hypocrisy there. And the hypocrisy is this. One, we're reading books about men doing things very aggressive to us sexually. We're watching movies that make lots of money, like 50 Shades of Grey, where, I mean, the woman's fucking getting beat for crying out loud. I just said the F-bomb again. And then, you know, you hear women and it's like, oh, he was so nice and he was so respectable, but I didn't feel any chemistry with him. And so it's like, no, we can't be hypocrites about this. Like, we have to be honest and say, like, yes, a man, there has to be respect. We're human beings. We're not freaking animals. We don't just go around humping one another. But we can't also neuter men and say, like, your sexual energy has no place. That's such bullshit, because then you're going to go, when you're drinking with your girlfriends, you're going to talk about how he didn't turn you on and he didn't do that. So my heart for you guys is to constantly champion your sexual energy and say, Yes, it's super important because without that sexual energy, that's what lands you in the friend zone. That's where there's no chemistry for her. So we have personality, conversation, stability, humor, kindness, a sense of community, sexual energy. And this one is actually going to be quite interesting for you guys. Alan Ross says everything was respectfully okay. Okay, so I did not flash you guys. He says, Lady Arica, I've seen your heart and mind, soul in a different light. That turmeric really works magic. It's really showing you my very human side today. But the last thing is this is joy. And I don't talk about this enough. I feel like when we use words like kindness and joy, it's like that's not important. But it so is important. I remember when I was in my 20s, before I was a dating relationship expert, I remember I was dating lots of guys. You guys, I was having the time of my life. And to be honest with you, it was because of that experience that I had a real estate business partner. I don't know if I've ever shared the story on YouTube. I was doing real estate with a business partner, and he saw my journey. I was divorced. I got married at 18. I was divorced at 25. I moved to Columbus, Ohio. I was just dating and having the time of my life. And I was dating incredible men. This is all going back to joy, by the way. And so when I moved to LA to become an actress and a singer, my business partner, we met up in LA, and he said, I think you need to start giving dating advice. This was 13 years ago. This is how it all got started. We were literally sitting in my apartment in LA in Miracle Mile, right next to the Baja Fresh. I wonder if that place is still open. And he said, Arica, I think you need to start writing about dating advice. And I said, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Who on earth needs help with dating? Dating is so easy. It's like taking candy from a baby. And he was like, everyone. And he started giving me examples. I had some girlfriends who were really beautiful women, but they were dating some really shitty guys. And he was like, look at the guys that your girlfriends keep choosing. And he was like, but look at the experiences that you had. And he said, you're doing something different. Why don't you start sharing that? And so that's where the journey began. And so as I was on this journey of dating lots of men, this was a deciding. So I remember meeting a guy, and he was a graphics artist, and we went out on a date. He was a good looking guy. He was, he was tall. He was like all the things that you guys think a woman wants. So he's like, he's got a good career. He's doing this, he's doing that. And then we start talking, and the guy was such a downer. I mean, he was so negative and so pessimistic about everything. I was like, man, this is freaking brutal. This date it was actually pissing me off, like the level of despair and despondency that was coming from this man. I'm like, you have no business dating. You should be sitting in some with a coach or with a therapist, but this is freaking heavy, man. And so when I say joy is important, like this guy on paper, like everything like was great about him, like what men think women want, great career, tall, good looking, blah, blah, blah. But because his energy was so heavy and he had zero joy, I just completely dismissed him. And I remember going out with this other guy. This guy still makes me smile. He's probably one of my most favorite guys that I dated. And I'm sure if he heard me saying this, he's now married with children, but I'm sure if he heard me, I see it on Facebook. I'm sure if he saw me saying this, he'd be like, but he was one of the most favorite guys that I dated back in my 20s. And he had such a gift of joy. He was so joyful, not saying that like he didn't have hard times. He didn't open up and say like things are hard at work or this and that, but he was super joyful. And it was like, it was like night and day going on a date with a guy who was like super heavy, super pessimistic. I mean, it was our first date. I'm like, man, this is our first date and you're this pessimistic. I can only imagine what the second, third, and fourth date. And honestly, I never went on another date with that guy because the conversation was just so heavy. Now, the joyful guy, the guy who just had this like joy, who just like looked at things positive. Like I remember, we'd be out at clubs, my girlfriends would come and there'd be some like, they'd have drama with their guys and he would find a way to like spin it, get them in a better mood, make everyone happy. Like he just had this vibe to him. And I thought that was so attractive. I thought it was so sexy. And he was just so much fun to be around. And he used to always say, I have this little mole here. And he would always kiss my mole. And he'd be like, he would kiss it. And he'd go, that is my favorite mole. And he would go, Arica, that's my mole. I'm like, he was just super clever. He was like, he had all the things on this list, like that's personality. Like a guy to say that to a woman, like you have to be really comfortable in your skin to point out a part of her body, which you guys should learn and do that. He pointed at my mole and he kissed it. He goes, that's my mole. It's my favorite part of you. And it just made me giggle inside. So it's like joy is contagious. We hear about this, but we don't talk about this in dating and in relationships. It's like, even when people get married, it's like when the husband gets so boggled down with the responsibilities, he loses his sense of joy. And so the wife is like, wow, he's like a killjoy. He's really depressing to be around. Also, guys, don't forget to like this video. I forgot to say that. And subscribe. You're like, subscribe to the woman who's drinking turmeric and breathing funny. But joy is essential. It is contagious. It makes you want to be with the person more. And so for me, the guy who was super pessimistic never went on another date, would see him out and be like, hey, how are you? Stay away. And then the guy who had tons of joy, gosh, I went on several dates. Even when I left Columbus, Ohio, and moved to LA, we went on dates when he'd come out to LA. Like he was just that, like when he came into LA, I was so excited to see him because he had so much joy. It was so much fun. So when we talk about joy and kindness, like these are very generic terms that we've been taught since we were children, but man, these kind of qualities go a long way for a woman's heart because she wants to be with you when you're able to exude this. Thank you, Guanam. He said, you are joy, Arica. I love that. That's so funny. You guys are on a roll today. You guys are making me giggle. Is it because I'm under the weather and you guys are trying to cheer me up? He says, what would happen if he found your soul instead of your mole? Well, then he would have fallen in love and maybe I wouldn't be a coach right now. Maybe he did fall in love. Okay, so just to recap, you guys, the 8 qualities that really attract women are personality, not just any personality, your personality, which takes courage, which takes vulnerability, takes being raw authentically. So your personality, not just anyone's personality, not Jim Carrey's, not someone from The Office, your personality. I know I used to see that a lot in LA, going off on tangents, but I was like, anytime a show would come out, I was like, everyone started acting like that show. And I was like, that is so weird that everyone's personality is reflecting what they just watched on a television show. That's awkward. So personality, the ability to conversate. And, I know you guys struggle with that a lot. And so, we just released the Compliments Bible to celebrate my 100K, which thank you guys for buying that. I'm so glad. I'm very curious what you guys think about that because some of that stuff is pretty sexual. I'm not going to lie. And then with conversation, its ability to keep conversation. So in the link, I have that course for you guys. If you struggle with keeping conversation going, check out that course. It's really going to change the game. And you're like, shit, I didn't realize if I just started this way and when it gets bumpy that I can change it just like this. And by the end of the day, I can use this skill of conversating to see if that's what I end the course with. Do it to see if you want to continue dating her. I think so many guys, they go, well, is she going to pick me? No. This is a mutual choosing. She doesn't have the upper hand on you. It's a mutual choosing. So by the end of the conversation, you should be deciding if you want to see her again. Chris says, I used some of the lines in the Bible and it worked out big time. Oh, I'm so glad. And Chris, I should announce it on this. Chris Lesser was the winner of the free Emotional Warrior program. I did a lottery. If anyone had bought the Compliments Bible within 48 hours, 12 of them would be picked for a Zoom party, which is tomorrow. And I'm so excited about that. I hope my body is ready for that. And then one person was going to win the Emotional Warrior program. And so I don't even have the jar with me. Oh, here it is. I took a picture, but my email provider wouldn't let me do it. So I literally hand wrote everyone's names and I put them in this jar. And so when I pulled out Chris's name, who won the Emotional Warrior, I was so excited because I don't know Chris, but Chris shows up to all of my live Q&As, and he's so proactive in these. And so it really just blessed my heart to see that he was a winner. I was like, you want people to win who are like very active and supporting you and bring value. And so I was just so excited that he got that. So conversation, super important. And like I said, if you guys struggle with that, then make sure that you do that course. Oh, Chris says, thank you, Eric. And thank you, everybody. I love that. And I think you're also invited to the Zoom party, Chris. So I hope I get to meet you, babe. And Chris, you're supposed to join the Facebook group too. You get free access to my Facebook group with Emotional Warrior Program. So make sure I sent you the link. Make sure you join that. And stability, like stability is something that is a journey and that you have to cultivate, but a woman will really respect that. And the other thing is humor. Humor is just so contagious, and kindness, but also the caveat there is make sure that you create opportunity for her to be kind to you back. That goes both ways so that you don't land in the friend zone. And a sense of having community, when I love what Caligula Libera, if I could go back to what he said, it's like, shit, what did you say? It was so good what he said, but basically it confirms who you are. When you have a sense of community, a woman goes, oh, I can trust that this is a good guy because he has a sense of community. And then of course, sexual energy. And the last one was joy. So guys, I hope that helps you. This has been a very long, drawn out one. I think because I've been under the weather. I just want to go through and see if anyone has any questions. Any questions in here? Ninja Wolf says, no offense, Erica, but do men, especially me, prefer women with natural makeup than to go crazy with makeup or just to scare them off? Everyone has their own preference. A lot of guys, I remember being in LA and women, they're really, really made up. And I remember just hearing guys saying like, it's just nice to see like a natural woman. And, but then you have some of the guys that really like that. They like their women to be extensioned out and fillers filled with their face and injections and lips and contacts and all that stuff. And some guys like that. It really boils down to your preference. Joe Bird says, my question, if me and a woman is talking about sex, does that mean we are going to have sex? If she lets me touch on her? Yeah, or you could just have a conversation around that too. There's that. Thank you, Dimani. He says, love your lingerie, matching glasses and earrings are hooptastic. Thank you, darling. Let's see, are there any questions in here? Ooh, I like that. Nate Spurs says, I get an increasing amount of women who say that they feel they can be themselves more when they are with me. I think that's phenomenal. Like, that's such a great compliment when a person says, I don't have to have any pretenses with you. I can just be the real me. Just make sure that you still also bring that sexual energy because that's important too. Nilajan says, I find it very difficult to converse with beautiful, high-born women. Definitely get that course, create and keep great conversation on the date. That will really help it because listen, a person's ability to get to know another person, which is the whole essence of conversation and having that sense of communication. When you have that gift of really getting to know someone, people become addicted to you, because it's very refreshing. It's not very common. And people want to be seen. They want to be known. So when you have that gift and you're able to give it to them, people do become addicted to you. Yup 34. I don't like this one. Thank you. He says, this girl knew I liked her and she kept saying, now you're going to watch me flirt with other guys. And then she'd keep doing it right in front of me. Why was she so evil with me? That goes both ways. I don't want to... I just personally had this happen to a girlfriend where a guy just did this to her just this past week. And I was like, show me who this guy is. And she would never show me who the guy was. And I was like, let me find this clown. Let Mama Arica Angelo go have a conversation with this fool. disrespecting my girl like that. Homie, don't play that. Remember Homie the Clown? Does anyone remember in Living Color where Homie the Clown would hit the kids with the balloon? And they'd be like, Homie the Clown, don't mess around. And they go, but homie, he'd take the balloon. Damon Wayans was the clown, and he'd hit him and hit the kid with the balloon and be like, homie, don't play that. It's so funny. I love that show. Yep, that's actually very toxic. Very, very toxic for a woman to do that. You know what that says to me? That says that some person in her life really hurt her, that there's some trauma there, that she was severely abused in some regards, or was disregarded and faced severe rejection. And so because she's got all of that hurt and that darkness in her belly, she's just going to go and spew it out on people who have kindness going for them. Listen, the minute that a woman says something like that to you, that's where you look at her and you go, good luck with that. And you walk right out of her life and you never return, because no one should ever be degraded and treated that way. That is not acceptable for any woman to treat you that way, or any human being to treat you that way. So the next time anything like that happens again, you say, yeah, that's not happening on my watch. And you turn around and walk off, and you forget a person like that, because that's a toxic person who needs to be in therapy, who needs to see a coach, who needs to do my emotional warrior program. She needs to go on her journey, but that has nothing to do with you. So don't stick around. And any other questions before we end this? I'm still laughing at the guy who commented. He was like, can we all just have a moment of silence for all the guys in the friend zone? That was really clever. It's my goal to get you guys out of that friend zone. Screw that. There's nothing. Ninja Wolf says, what's so bad about starting off as a friend with a girl? There's nothing wrong with it, because I say that some of the best relationships start off as friends. It's just when there's no, I can't think of the word. I'm going to look it up since I'm on my computer. It's I'm not going to say this right. Reciprocity. It's not, when it's not being reciprocated, when it's not going both ways, that's when guys stay in the friend zone. It's like when you start developing feelings and you don't tell her and you just keep doing nice things, that's where it gets challenging for you. Daniel Millsap says, is it cheating if you're already in a relationship but you have grown a connection with someone else? Yeah, it kind of is. It's like emotional intimacy that you're cultivating with someone else. So I would be very careful with that, my man, and and ask yourself, what am I not getting in my relationship that I'm having to now get this from another person? Because you're developing emotional intimacy with them. And so that is always going to lead to something else. Whether you want to think you're a bigger or better person, it just happens. And then you have to have that conversation with your partner. It just happened. Well, it didn't just happen. You started developing emotional intimacy for that person. And so you need to ask yourself, where in my relationship am I not getting that? And how can I cultivate that in my relationship if you really love your relationship? Any other questions? I'm skimming through. Does sexual energy and chemistry go hand in hand? I do not believe so. And I will tell you why. You know, Bali is a very sexual place. And I meet lots of guys here you have lots of coaches here. You got lots of spiritual woo-woo people. Lots of people do tantra and all that stuff. And good on them. I'm a little bit more practical, so I don't necessarily get in those circles, even though I get invited and I go, thank you, it's so sweet of you. I'm never going to go. So I see a lot of people I see a lot of men out here, because a lot of guys do like tantra work and things like that. But I don't have any chemistry with them. You know, like some of these guys, you know, they look like hippies. They look like Jesus. They don't wear deodorant. I can feel the sexual energy from him. I feel like, that guy could do a number on me and I would probably enjoy it. But do I feel chemistry with him? No. We have different values. We want different things in life. I don't necessarily have value for him as a romantic partner because we want different things. Can I still feel sexual energy from him? Absolutely. Do I have chemistry with him to build something with him? Do I want to go and just make out with him? Absolutely not. So there is a difference there. I like to give these personal stories because I feel like when we just give like educational advice, it's like, okay, but how are people actually going to my whole thing is like give advice that people can actually just walk away and use. And the best, I find the best way that I learn, maybe this is why I tell stories, because I learn, is through stories. It's like, show me where it's actually working in someone's life so that I can tangibly implement that in my own life. So that's why I share a lot of these sometimes personal stories. It's like, so you get a real picture instead of like this philosophical thing, like, could be one day. No, screw that. Like, get practical. Like, tell people real stories so that they can integrate it into their lives. Any other questions? What movies have you played in? I actually have not been, I don't think I've been in any movies. No, never ever really built the whole acting thing. Didn't have the passion for it. People in LA who live there who want to be actors and actresses, boy, they have commitment and passion like none other. Just wasn't, I didn't want it that bad. I want what I do for a living much more bad, which is why I've been doing it for 13 years when it has not been very easy for me. Any other questions before I end this? Yeah, guys, make sure you get the create and keep great conversation on the date because that is really powerful. It's really going to give you the tools so that you don't feel lost. I think a lot of guys feel so lost when they're talking to women, and it's just a skill set. It's really what it boils down to. It's learning a new skill set. And so most guys aren't equipped with that. So that's why, I create these courses. It's like, okay, let's just find an easy way for guys to be able to do this so that they don't have to keep struggling. So I don't have to keep seeing the same comments on YouTube. It's like, no, here's a course, go change your life. Get the skill set that you need, go implement it, change your life, have different experiences with women. And any other? Charles Herm says, you are beautiful and I'm already in love. Well, listen, boy, if I'm wooing you being sick with a turmeric tongue, then wow, I got it going on. Thank you, babe. I appreciate that. Okay, here's the last question. Are you ready? This is coming from Orville Nation. Question: is there such a thing as the smell of success, in your opinion, on a hormonal level, for example? I don't. You did not. Someone just said I saw a nipple. Oh, you didn't see no nipple. Quit lying. Quit lying up in here. I think that, can you, like, on a physical level, can you smell success? Well, I think that more successful people have the means to buy more hygienic products to keep their hygiene going. So nicer colognes, nicer deodorant, better food, because if you eat shitty food, then your body starts smelling funky. So yeah, I think that on a very practical level, successful people are able to buy more expensive things that do make them smell good. But in terms of success, I think that people can you feel success on someone? Absolutely. Absolutely. You can definitely see the way that they carry themselves. I remember being around this. Why are you talking ghetto? Because someone talked trash to me. And when someone talks trash, that ghetto's got to come out sometimes. You know what I'm saying? When someone is successful, I remember being around this person who was much younger than me, and he was super successful in his field. And I remember just watching him, and if I didn't know he was successful, and just by watching him, I could tell that he was successful because of the way that he carried himself. When he had conversation with people, there was intention behind it. There was focus in his eyes. He was very warm and very personable, but there was a tremendous amount of intention behind everything that he did. There was tremendous focus. There was clarity in what he said. And so because he had those qualities, you could detect, okay, this guy is very successful because of the way that he was executing throughout life. You know, it was like the conversations, everything that he did there, it was done with execution, with vision, with purpose, with intention, with clarity, with direction. You know, everything was done with intention. And I was like, you could just feel this person is successful. Guys, thank you so much for bearing through this with me and me being under the weather and drinking and spilling turmeric juice and maybe or maybe not flashing you guys. I apologize. But it was really important for me to do this because, you know, when I say I'm going to do this, I want to be that person of integrity and show up and do it. I tell you guys about integrity and commitment, and I would like to live by the same principles in my own life. So guys, I love you so much. Remember, you have what it takes. You got it. You might need some skills and tools. So make sure that you check out that Create and Keep Great Conversation on the Date. That will really, you guys who are struggling with being able to talk to women, that course will really support you. I think it's like five videos where I train you. And then it's got 5 PDFs to help you integrate what you've learned. So make sure you check the video course out. Guys, I love you so much. This was so much fun. Some of you guys had some really funny jokes today. You guys really made me laugh. So thank you so much. You guys just really crack me up. I adore you guys. And I will see you in my next live video. And we've got some really hot videos coming out this weekend on Sunday and Monday. So be prepared for those. You guys take care, and I love you. And I will see you in my next live Q&A with more topics now, so that we have a bit more focus and clarity on, so that you guys are getting some educational value and not just listening to people's questions, but also that you're getting something out of it that really pertains to you. So I love you guys. See you soon. Ciao, ciao.